What is going on, nerds and nerdettes? It's your boy, Stevie B. Yes, it really is me. As you know, gone is new Coke with the hair and the full beard. Back is classic Coke. Stevie B, like you know him and love him. But back with the goat and the short hair. Anyway, I had to do it. Summer's here. It doesn't, I mean, not officially, but temperature wise, summer's here. We had some bad storms over the last couple of weeks, but when it's not storming, it's hot and muggy. I mean, hot and muggy. In today's news, man, today just found out, just before filming here, legendary Marvel artist Jerry Conway passed away today at age 79, I believe it was. 79. I think he had pancreatic cancer. He was, diagnosed with that like back in 2022. And I think it's probably what got him. But he gave us Punisher. I mean, just legendary artist. Sad to see him go. But they're just dropping like flies. My next door neighbor actually passed away Sunday morning at 7 o'clock. Or 5 o'clock Sunday morning. Yeah, I didn't know him very well. He was a friendly guy. You hate to hear it, but he had a lot of health issues too. So I think he was expecting it, but of course, my thoughts go out to my neighbors, his wife and the family that still lives there, and the little puppy dogs that come over and play with my puppy dogs all the time. Anyway, but enough of that. What else are we talking about, man? Let's see. Haven't watched the season finale of Invincible yet, but really liking it. I have been watching The Boys 5th season, and I just can't get into it. The politics, it's just dripping with politics, and I hate it. I hate that it does that. I was like, oh my God, shut up and entertain us. But I'm not going to go back into that rant again. Let's get into some comic books. I got quite the stack today because I am 2 weeks behind. But of course, last week I didn't have anything. This is a haul from mostly from this week. Well, this past week, I guess, consider. Of course, but let's get into it. I'm rambling. Let's get into it. First up, it was Superman Day. So we had free comic book day for Superman Day. So I didn't pick up everything that was given away on free comic book day because I got in a bad habit of, it's free, I'm going to get it. And then I'm like, why? It's just taking up space. So, but I did get the things that I did want. Superman, time and time again. And quite honestly, I probably shouldn't have got that one. That was the only one that I got that I didn't, that I'm like, why did I get that? But next up, another Superman #1 for Superman Day. And this is a Nick Dracotta cover, who is now infamous for the absolute Batman stuff. So he did a Superman cover, so I thought I'd pick that one up. And Supergirl The World. It's a nice one-shot, so I thought I'd get it. Really love the cover. The cover is awesome. Joelle Jones and Patrick Mulvihill. Does anybody have normally pronounced names anymore? My God. Joelle Jones and Patrick Mulvihill. Anyway, that's who does the cover. And Sophia Campbell does this one. Look, a normal name, easy to pronounce, and a cool cover. I like how the cat's over there looking at her like, oh, what, bitch, remember when we used to be somebody? But no, now you traded me in for Superboy's dog. Krypto belongs to Superboy. We all know it. Quit trying to give him to Supergirl. We all know this, man. But Supergirl, it's supposed to be Superman Day, and there's three Supergirl titles, 4 Supergirl books. Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, #1, again with Krypto. I don't know why I'm spending so much time on these. You all went and got these. But of course there was a foil. I had to get it. And I'm not gonna lie, I got it just because I like the cover. I like Krypto on the cover. I'm a mark for Krypto. I like it that they put him in the movie, and I thought he was great in the movie. Loved it in the movie. It was awesome. But anyway, that's all the free well, this one wasn't free. Of course, I paid for the foil. I think it was actually $10 for the foil. But I had to have it. Next up, remember I am a week behind, so these are a couple weeks old. So you've probably already had these, read them, and bagged them, bought them, and put them away. But Spider-Man Superman #1, I went with the logo cover, and it's the only one I got. There was a foil to this, but I did not like it. Didn't like the foil. Wasn't going to spend money on something I didn't like. Didn't like the A cover. Actually, most of the covers for this, other than a few store exclusives, which you were going to pay $30 to $50 for, and I wasn't going to do that. But most of the covers that came direct from the publisher kind of sucked, to be honest with you. There was no big one, like the Superman, Spider-Man ones. But so I just went with this one. I do have this Superman, Spider-Man logo cover too as well, so it's a cool little bookie into that. Next up, Amazing Spider-Man #27, the final part of the Death Spiral storyline, where Spider-Man bonds with Carnage to become Spider Carnage. Love that. But love the cover. Thought it was cool. Oh, speaking of Dragota, or is it Dragata? Am I pronouncing it wrong? I'm always going to pronounce it wrong. But anyway, speaking of Nick, Dragata, however you want to pronounce it, I did pick up Absolute Batman #19. This is the introduction to the Scarecrow into the Absolute universe. These Absolute books are blowing up. They're almost every book they release is a key, and every one of them is going up. It's getting crazy. Only Batman seems to be getting the most love. Superman, Wonder Woman, and the others, not so much, which is kind of crazy. But what are you gonna do? Another series I wished I would have got in on that's just crapping out like hit after hit after hit is the Impossible series. I had Impossible #1 at one point, and I gave it away in one of my round of mystery boxes. So whoever got that, you're welcome. That's like a $1,200 book now. All right, and then we break into our foil facsimiles. I had to pick some up. And what's weird is I just bought the original of this on eBay like a month ago, and then it comes out in a full facsimile. But World's Finest, $195. I love it. Jimmy Olsen and Robin digging their own graves, and Batman and Superman going, yeah, get in there. So, but I do have the original of that, and of course I have the original of this, Man of Steel #1 full facsimile. And some of you may not know this, but this is the very first intentional cover variant of the comic that had the first intentional cover variant. There is a variant to this. We'll put it right there. Post it right there. That is the other cover to this, of course, non-foil. So there are two covers for this book. But very first intentional variant, a key word on intentional. Now there were newsstands and direct editions and error editions and Canadian, but the one that intentionally made two separate covers for one comic book. This was the first series to do it. So now you know. The more you know, now you know. And next up, again, part of the Batman Year 2 foil facsimiles, Part 3. I'm going to go ahead and get them all, but it's McFarlane's little run on Batman and Detective Comics, or his artwork on Batman, you know what I mean. But, so I'm going to go ahead and get them all, and I'm really starting to think I say this, but I'm going to do it. I need to slow down on the foil facsimiles. I've got 2 short boxes packed full of foil facsimiles. And now they're kind of getting crazy with them. Some of them I haven't, believe it or not, I did pass on some of them. Some of them they're not key books. They're not like iconic covers. They're really not, not anything to be considered to warrant making a foil facsimile reproduction of them. I'm just kind of crazy about that. Now, there are some storylines out there, if they ever do foil facsimiles I will probably get them all, but Spider-Man Torment. But anyway, I'll digress. Now, we got 3 big books. 3 big books. I don't know which ones to even show you first. I'm going to show you this one first, and then we'll go into the 2 bigger ones. Picked this up on eBay. Not a very pricey book, but it's a minor key. But I am a fan of. I told you I've been going after these covers, but I am a fan of the covers, and it is The Death of Aquababy, and it is Aquaman what number is it? 452. But I'm loving it. I'm really digging going back and getting these old covers. It's not even a Silver Age, but still, love that cover. And let's see, which one should I do next? I should do the big key. They're both about the same in value. We'll just do this one. So, I'm at a game exchange here in Arkansas. And if you're not familiar with game exchange, you probably have a similar type of store in your area where you can take used video games in, trade them in, and get nothing for them in cash and a few bucks for trade in. They kind of screw you. But some of them, they sell DVDs, Blu-rays, and video games, Magic the Gathering cards, Pokemon cards, and this pop culture type stuff, action figures and whatever. And our game exchange actually carries a few comic books. Now, I have been in there and I've picked through them. Everybody has picked through them and picked clean through the boxes. They have about 6 short boxes full, and they've been picked through, and most of them are all dollar bin books. Because these people are not comic book experts, so people are dumping their Valiant books on them and their Impact Comics and Malibu Comics and all the 90s garbage that collectors are just dumping them on them, and they're going, well, we're afraid we can't give you much for them, like maybe 25 cents a piece, and they're going, bet. Bet. So that's a lot of that, but they have boxes, and then they have a little display rack above the boxes where they kind of highlight some ones that they think are cherry picked and kind of, look at what we got, and they're still all Valiant books and stuff. So I almost just passed by them. I was like, I'm not even gonna waste my time digging through them. But I decided, we'll flip through a couple, see what it's like. And I flipped through a couple of them, and this was up there for $2. For $2. Clearly didn't know what they had, and I don't know how people missed it. Now, to be fair, this is a VF copy at best. It's got a few spine ticks on it, but still a $70, $75 book in this condition. If it were mint, it'd be, a couple hundred. But of course, it's the first appearance of Jason Todd as Red Hood. For $2, I'm grabbing it. I'm grabbing it. I had to scan the barcode with my QLZ to make sure it didn't pop up as a reprint or a facsimile or 17th printing or something, because I just couldn't believe that it was actually the original, but it's the real deal. So that was my big find. Very rarely am I out in the wild, because really there's no place around in my area that carries. There's one comic book store, of course we all know about Douche Canoe Comics, but as far as like flea markets and stuff like that, very few of them you'll ever find any comic books in. And when you do, that's usually somebody who's dumped off all their crappy Valiant books that nobody wants and try to get $2 for them, you know. So I was excited to actually get my very first big find in the wild. So awesome for that. And last up, I've had this in my watch list for a while. I think it's an undervalued key. I think it's a bigger key book than it's given credit for, and the value isn't represented of how big a key it is. But it is Detective Comics number 405, first appearance of the League of Assassins, and I got it in the Mylite 4 Mylar bag, and I have lesson learned on those. I will never buy these again. Yes, they are thick, and yes, they are beautiful when you get them, but my God, these are the Silver Age size, and they are tight. You're not going to put a fullback in that and get a comic book in there without forcing it and bending it and damaging it. So it's just got a regular backing board in it, and even then I could push it down so far, but then you got to give it that little tappy, just a little tippy tappy to get it down in there. So I won't ever buy those again. I see why you don't see too many collectors talking about these, but at any rate, that was my big purchase. I really think League of Assassins is such a key element in Batman mythos that the fact that I could pick this up for less than $100 is, I mean, it's nowhere near mint. Honestly, it's probably a VG copy. You ain't gonna be able to see it through the bright shiny Mylar, but it does have some pretty significant spine ticks. Not bad, not as bad as you'd think, but a few. And some corner blunting and damage, a little bit of chipping down there. And I'm not going to take it out, but there is a big chip on the back cover that I actually thought was a stain when I saw the pictures, and when I got it, it's a chunk about, it's about that big and about that deep, taken out of the back cover. So it's a VG copy, maybe a 4.5 at best, but still for under $100, I think it's good. And and you're not going to find near mint copies of this very much, and if you do, you are going to pay for them. But for a nice introductory level key book for the first appearance of League of Assassins, that's a good one to get in a mid grade or a little higher, maybe for less, about $100 to $150. Getting up there, mid grade to VF copies could run you $300 or so. But good addition to my collection. I'm happy to have it either way. It presents really well. I know that's a favorite expression amongst collectors, but the cover presents really well. The back cover, like I said, that little piece chipped out of it isn't killing me. That would explain why I got it for under $100, and not, if that piece wasn't missing, it would have probably been 120 to 150. At any rate, that is going to do it for today's haul. Not sure what to tell you about next week. I did order some stuff, but I'll probably I'll probably have a video next week, but it'll probably be a short one, shorter than my 20-minute one that we're having today. But anyway, appreciate you guys for watching. Before you go, if you do all those YouTube things, we love for you to do. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. And we will see you guys in the next one. Peace.